Hello, welcome to Monetizing Mompreneurs podcast, where I take you behind the scenes with industry leaders, entrepreneurs, moms, working professionals, and amazing people pursuing their passions and going for their dreams. And I'm your host, Linda Mendable.
Welcome back to Monetizing Mompreneurs podcast. So, as you know, I took a break from December, January, February, and now it is March. So, really, this podcast, what to be relaunched, it was a God thing. So, I really feel as though I am meant to do this. And so, I'm just going to go ahead and dig in. Let's talk today about just going for it because I think when you're an entrepreneur and you're out here and you see all these big accounts or bigger accounts than you and you see your competitors and some people are giving this advice and some people are giving that advice. And, to be honest, within my own email list and within my own IG and with my own content, I'm giving my advice from what I've learned from my mistakes because I've made mistakes. OMG. And what I've learned on what is working. And this is the thing. I am just like you figuring this thing out because I am transitioning from one-on-one into the one-to-many. And I started slow. So the reason why I decided to do that is because I've always been someone that tries to do better in their business, like try to get my processes better and try to get my systems better. And that's why like I invested in certain things early on. Like one of the apps that I troll sometimes, especially when I'm looking for new tools, is AppSumo, because AppSumo has a lot of lifetime deals in it. And one of the lifetime deals that I received is my support ticket system. I got that on a lifetime deal. So I am plugged in and boom, lifetime. I was like, yes, this is exactly what I need because I remember I was working with a VA and she was like, it was kind of like just like a project work because I needed like extra support. And I remember we had support tickets and I had her in my support tickets to help me with some of my clients because man, sometimes, you know, this too much, you know what I'm saying? And I saw, well, she actually requested, and she was one of the best VAs that I've ever had, and I lost her because she loved systems. And that's when I learned, I'm like, I gotta get my systems in place if I'm gonna have help. If I'm gonna need help, I have to have my systems in place. And that's when I decided to go with ClickUp. And there's a long story on going with ClickUp. So, but that's my lesson that I learned. Like, oh my gosh, if I don't have the right SOPs, so first I have my SOPs within Trello. That's the first place that I had SOPs, a process. But the thing that I noticed with people that are super productive and I need guidance, right, and that are good at their work, they thrive with amazing systems. So one of the lessons that I've learned. Another lesson that I learned is about digital products. And there was a question that I always got from a lot of my clients, and it was, how do I gain more clients? So at the time, the way that I gained clients was through blogging. And I did blogging in a certain way that allowed me to attract the right people that were eager to invest. Like they were so happy to invest and excited and wanted to know the processes. And that's actually how I've also pivoted because of my blog, right? I do have a web design background and basically I didn't even know that I was going to get back into web design. But if it wasn't for those small steps of going for it, right, I would have never even been where I'm at now, right? We just launched Monetizing Mompreneur Society. And the reason why the name is Monetizing Mompreneur Society is because in our Facebook group, Monetizing Mompreneurs, I did market research and I asked them, hey, what would you like the name to be if you were a part of XYZ? So my currently what I'm developing, my signature offer, what I want to be known for in the one to many space is basically derived from aligning myself from my target audience and the audience that I am naturally attracting. I always ask my clients, who are you naturally, by you just being you, attracting? By the information that you're putting out there, let's first go there on who are you naturally attracting. And that's what I dialed in on. So the methods that I'm teaching is not something that I'm taking from somewhere else and then just slapping it on and saying, hey, this is marketing because I learned it over here, marketing, and hey, do it over here. And that's the difference. That's going to be the difference here in this podcast in this space that you're currently in and that you're listening to. Okay, let's talk more about what I've learned, right? So the reason why I learned that is because I shot my shot and did a course based on my client's most pressing question was which was how do I gain clients? And this is what I've learned from that course. And I'm so glad that I like went for it. I learned so much. It has been so insightful. It has been something that has generated so many ideas. But let me tell you, it doesn't make a whole ton of sales. But I've learned so much from it that allows me now to understand, how to pivot a product in order to align it with your ideal customers and clients, because that is where it's at. So, anyways, right? I developed the blog cure to answer my clients' most pressing questions. And I thought it was going to be like this easy yes for it, right? And one of the the reasons why I developed this product and also I made a reel about it, and I should write a blog post about it, is that it allowed me to stick to my prices. When before the blog cure, when someone would come on a call with me, they of course they would try to lowball you, right? And sometimes, you would just, okay, to onboard the client, hey, this is a new client. Yes, okay, let's work with your budget, right? And I learned a lot there. And I learned to stick with my budget because basically, when you start lowering your prices, when you have a certain set and you kind of like, um, allow them to break through your boundaries, for whatever reason, people start to discredit you or devalue you. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm like, you know what? I never want to go through this again. One of the worst clients, not the worst clients. I can't even say that. I'm not even gonna go there because I never like talking badly about clients because it's really not the client's fault. That's my belief. Like, I truly believe if you are a service provider or a course creator and your clients are like having a horrible experience or or giving you a hard time, it's not because of them, it's because of you. You have maybe allowed them to break through your boundary, you have allowed them to devalue you, or you have allowed them to have a certain perception of you. And so that's one of the things that you have to check yourself in. So I never think that there's horrible clients ever. Anyways, so one of the worst things that I have done as a service provider to do a service at a lower price point, and it's never worked out good. It's never worked. Like if I had a certain budget on this is what my services are, I stuck to it because those were the most fulfilling, most amazing experiences. And I'd rather get more of that and try to track more of that and double down trying to get that instead of having to break through my boundaries, right? And lower it. And then I'm dealing with emotional turmoil. I'm dealing with wow, man, like just, energy that does not keep my business going. So you really have to protect your energy when you're online, when you're trying to serve people, you have to protect your energy. And that also was a tough, tough lesson to learn, but that I am like embracing with all full capacity in keeping my boundaries from my business, from my kids. You get what I'm saying? Like from my life that I want to live. Let's talk about the blog cure. That is where I learned so much lessons because, like I said, it wasn't an easy yes, but it allowed me to stick to my prices because whenever a client was like, well, that's a bit out of my budget, I was like, well, I got a course that you can take that you can do it yourself. And I would send them to that course. And I felt so good, right? I felt so good sending that. Like I still served. You know what I'm saying? Like I was still serving them in some capacity. Like, okay, you can't afford me. I completely understand, or you can't afford these prices. Not even me. It's not even me that I'm selling. But, you can't afford this service right now. I completely understand. Here is one of my courses that you can take. This has allowed me to protect my space. And this is why I say every service provider should have a course, a digital product. You know, it will serve you in more, even if it doesn't sell as quickly as you would like it to. Because I've made sales with it, especially when I first launched it. It was cool making those sales, but as time progressed, because maybe I haven't articulated the value of said course and because of the price point, right? Because it's 37 bucks, maybe like, oh, is it that valuable? And that's another thing I've learned about positioning and price points, right? And, which I am also going to be rebranding it and, and updating it and refreshing it. But through blogging, that's where I gained my clients. That's where, and blogging is still ridiculously powerful. And I want to get back to blogging, and I am, Lord willing, we'll get back to blogging once right now, I'm just building out because the course, Monetizing Mompreneur Society is in beta right now. And so right now, you can get grandfathered in. And so if you're interested in learning about hosting your own bundles, summits, and learning about funnels, then I would suggest you get in because this is going to be one of the most amazing courses out there. I'm telling you. I poured my heart and soul into this one, and I just know the value that's in it. So if you're interested, get on in, go to my website, or even I think in these show notes, and you can get plugged in. And I have a free events landing page for Show It that you can use for your own next event, whether it's virtual or in person. It works for both, and you can go ahead and use it. So I use Show It and Flowdesk, and man, it's been the best. I've used so many other applications. I tried so many other things. I've been a tester, and let me tell you, I'm going to give you guys the goods. Okay, the blog cure. Everything stemmed from this. So basically, not everything, but you know what I'm saying? Like, wow, it's just been so good. I'm so thankful because it isn't a course it's not a bestseller. It is not a bestseller, but it is the one of the best lead gens that I have for bundles. So when I put it in a bundle, it gets sales because of my order bump. So my order bump from the blog cure is basically my podcast systems and with a video walkthrough of the systems. And that makes sales. And this is what I learned from that. You have to be in alignment. That's what I learned from that. In the sense of, okay, I asked myself, you know, what if someone's getting the blog cure, where is their mindset at? Obviously, they may be interested in having their own podcast if they don't, especially when you're learning how to blog, you're just getting in the game.
Ready to supercharge your email list? Well, join us in Monetizing Mompreneur Society, where we help you host bundles and summits masterfully. So we give you the tools and the strategy to grow your email list and grow your business. Join us in Monetizing Mompreneur Society and get in on our beta membership. Right now, we're doing beta pricing, and it's the right time to join. So we are giving away a 30-day free trial for our first 100 members. Currently, we have 67 spots. We would love to see you in there.
Right? So if you're just getting into the game, I want to be one of the first people to help you go into that podcasting world, right? And show you the systems and give you the checklist and give you things that you need to have your own podcast. Because when you're first starting out, you don't know where to invest, right? You don't know where to go. And so really the blog cure was kind of like my initial start for people to get to know me and the quality and the value that I provide, right? So it's like getting to know, me at you getting in at this lower price point and you're getting to know kind of like how I teach, my style, and all of it is really good. This is the thing. A lot of people want these quick tips to get them to 6 and 7 figures and all that. And the reality is, if you don't start thinking about what you're doing and really sit down, it's going to take you a long time to get to where you want to get to. Because if you're thinking that these tips, these quick tips that are out there, if you just implement, that you're gonna grow ridiculously fast. I mean, I'm sorry to break it to you, it usually does not work that way. For example, I had one mompreneur that joined us in one of our calls, and she's like, I'm trying to grow my Instagram, and I asked her, okay, yeah, I'm here for you. Yeah, what's going on with your IG? Well, I'm trying to grow it. And I'm like, okay, well, how many times are you posting? I'm posting every day, 2 times a day. And I'm like, okay, wow. And you're stuck, huh? And I did not check out her account, so I couldn't understand why. Later, I do check out her account and I understand exactly why she wasn't growing. And just because you're putting content out there every day, 2 times a day, doesn't mean that you're going to grow. Value, positioning, messaging is what's going to allow for growth. And I just heard recently, like, put your most innovative thoughts out there. And I think that was a really cool tip. That was one of the best tips that I've seen on social. And, and I'm still debating on how I'm going to use that tip. But that was a great tip because your mindset, the way that you view the world is going to be unique. It's going to be different. And the way that you view it is going to allow, a different perspective. And this is another reason why podcasts are so powerful is because it allows you to gain different perspectives into whatever it is that you're going for, your goals, your dreams, a different perspective, a different switch in your mentality, right? And one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is you got to get your mental game right. You got to get it right. You got to eliminate the negative self-talk. Eliminate that because that self-talk is what's going to make the difference between you achieving or you receding, having a receding hairline, like you're gonna go backwards. It's gonna make the difference. So, you know, get into affirmations. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Speak life over yourself when as soon as you say you can't, you know what I do? I say I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's what I say. You know, eliminate the negative self-talk. And I find that in God's word, it does talk about that. You need to eliminate. I think there's a story I think about. What is it? Gillian, who uh, who didn't really think about himself that well, and God started speaking to him and saying, calling him and speaking like great things over him. Speak great things over you. Speak great things over your children. And that's what I love to do. I always, because my kids also, I learned that. My kids also, when talking with them and they get into like, oh, I'm XYZ, I'm like, no, don't you ever say nothing negative about yourself. You're learning. So eliminate as soon as you can. Let that be the one of the first things that you do before you do another strategy, before you do another thing, eliminate that negative self-talk. That's really what's holding you back. It's not because when you have that negative self-talk, what happens is when someone touches on that negativity that you're talking about yourself and someone just points at it a little tiny bit, it's going to hurt you so deeply because, oh, it's true. And it's going to kind of resonate within you. So one of the things I heard before about resonate, resonance, right? When it comes into music, and there's like an instrument and you do a C chord and there's a guitar that's next to you or there's a guitar that's next to you and does a C chord that it would also vibrate. The C chord will also vibrate. That's resonance. So if you have negative self-talk and someone talks about like kind of points on that negativity that aligns with that negative self-talk, guess where you're gonna be? You're gonna be a mush. You're gonna go ghost. You're not gonna post. I should do a rap. You're gonna go ghost. You're not gonna post, and well, your momentum that you build up is gonna go away because momentum is the name of the game, my friend. If you got momentum going, you got to try to keep it going, and that's one of the reasons why you got to eliminate that self-talk. I mean, eliminate that negative self-talk. The way I remember I was in a really bad battle in growing my business. And so the moments that you've seen me kind of like, take a break is because I had a lot of negative self-talk that I didn't know that that was one of the things that was holding me back. Another thing, negative self-talk causes burnout. It will cause you to burn out because you're fighting yourself. I feel like burnout comes from a point of you fighting yourself and then you get burnt out because you're fighting your boundaries. You're fighting against this negative self-talk and you're fighting yourself and you're trying to do the work and you're trying to do the strategy and boom, burnout. You get what I'm saying? But if you come from a place that your self-talk and your boundaries are rock solid and you're rocking that, you're working on getting your discipline a lot better because discipline is also key. I know it's not very is very popular out here, but discipline, boundaries are key. So work on that. That I had to learn that the hard way. Don't learn it the hard way. Learn it now. So eliminate your negative self-talk. Work on establishing those boundaries, build out that digital product so you can, or say, hey, I have do an audio series. Hey, I have an audio series that can take you step by step into what it is that you are trying to do that maybe that can walk you through what you want to where what you want to achieve however you can create something quickly to support them. And I think if I were just trying to create a product suite, maybe an audio like a free audio series for your client to get the success that they want would work really well into getting them into your VIP offers or into high ticket. So one of my greatest creations was the free resource library. Let me tell you, whenever I had a client that was on the fence and working with me, they gained that free resource library. Woo, conversion right there. Turn the prospect into a lead, into a client. So think about ways that you can serve your current people, your current audience, and the people that you're meant to serve, and really get to know them. And I think that's really key. It's just really getting to know your people, it's really getting to know who you naturally attract. Okay, the blog here, right? I learned so many lessons here from that one course. So what had happened was I worked ridiculously hard to get that thing off the ground. And the way that I did it was through the flow method because I was like, I I couldn't understand some of these people in the way that they said to create the courses. I was like, you know what? I need to just double down and create this. And I sat down and I created a spreadsheet called the flow method. And that takes you through your steps. Step one of working with you, it takes you through your SOPs. SOPs are key. So, anyways, did that method, right? And then had a list of, okay, how I am going to, you know, position these steps? Is it going to be a checklist? Is it going to be a workbook? Is it going to be a video series? Is it going to be an audio series? Is it going to be, a master class? Is it going to be a challenge? How can I deliver this particular step, right? And that's where launching a challenge helps you. It brings the flow method together with workbooks to help you create alignment with your offers. So if you don't have the launch a challenge with a challenge, I suggest you grab it. I can give you a beautiful sales page, and if your offer is not in alignment, it's not going to sell. I can give you a beautiful sale page with amazing copy, with testimonials on it, slap to it. If it's not in alignment, it's not going to sell. So really, it has to be in alignment with you. And I think that's something that people are not really talking about. It has to be in alignment with you, with what you naturally attract and how you can double down and figure out, where you need to pivot and where you need to buckle up, buckle up, buttercup. You got to figure those things out. And so the blog here, right? 37 bucks. It's a hard sell. I mean, you know how those people say, like, oh, have you heard those marketers say, hey, a high ticket, thing is going to be the same as a low ticket, right? It's going to be as difficult as a low ticket. Well, for that case, for the blog here, it was pretty much that. I almost had to go on sales calls for the blog here. That was $37. Here's what's in it for you in that 37. The sales page wasn't enough. Let me explain a little bit further. You get what I'm saying? Like, so that's why they say that, because a lot of people have these offers that are not in alignment. And that's what I discovered with the blog here. So boom. Then I discovered it wasn't the offer, because when I put in a bundle, I grew my list to 1,000 new subscribers in 1 week. And I was just like, hold up, Buttercup. What's going on here? And made sales, with the podcaster's dashboard. And that's what I called it. It's a Trello board with all of the things you need in order to quickly launch, right? Just quickly launch a podcast. And because sometimes you just need some resources. You just, hey, how do I do this thing, right? And especially if you're trying to figure out, like, where do I start, right? And, do I get that, do I go here, invest here? Do I invest there? Where? And I think it's really about also like putting yourself in your client's shoes, right? And asking yourself questions like, what makes me buy? Right? And that's one of the questions I asked myself, when I started to develop this program. I said, you know what? What have I purchased before? You know what I've purchased? Things that are clear. Like if I have a specific pain, right? And my specific, like, I remember was a new web designer, and I really I stumbled on to, I forgot what it was that I was like trying to get help on, but it was 97 bucks, and it was very specific on what they were selling to web designers. They were very targeted, very specific outcome, and I invested in that. Boom. Another thing that you should ask yourself is, what impresses you when you take a course, when you follow someone, what impresses you? Like, how can you duplicate that, right? As a buyer, as a consumer, as a client, what do you like? How do you like to, it's the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. Use the golden rule within your marketing and within your products. That's what I do. I use the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. So I ask myself, how do I like to be sold to, right? I like to know exactly what I'm getting. I like to know exactly what I'm purchasing, and what is the transformation? Not just like for instance, the mistake that I've made with the blog here, there was no promise. There was no promise on, if you take this course, this is the promise on how you're going to walk away. There was none. With Monetizing Mompreneur Society, there is a promise. Masterfully host bundles and summits and build out funnels. That's a funnel because bundles and summits is a funnel. That is a promise. And that is why, because you know exactly what you're getting, you know exactly what tools, what training you're going to receive, what, to get you to help you to that next level. Like, oh, I've always wanted to host a summit, for my community. I've always wanted to host a bundle for my community, right? And so we all have our own communities. We have our clients, right? And so, boom, there is a need there, right? But where do I go? You come here and monetize Mompreneur Society. It's still in beta, but this is the best time to come in because you get to ask your questions, and I'm there every week. It's basically me going to be like, once it's completely finished, I'm going to be there once a month, just answering questions, providing resources, and all of that. And, a lot of it is I did it because I want to see people successful. I want to see you successful. And I saw a lot of things that are just not right in the industry. Like, man, that's just not right. So I am going to be sharing like a lot of maybe mindset shifts that can help you along your journey because that's what I'm here for. And also, I love designing. I am a designer by heart. And so that's why I, have templates with Show It, and grab the free one on hosting your next, check it out, and who knows? But I think that's what it's about. It's about aligning your offer, and putting yourself out there and stop holding yourself back. Eliminate that self-talk, that negative self-talk. Eliminate that. Well, I hope this episode was insightful, and I will be back, and I will see you. I will see you later, Gator.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have a chance, stop by the website at lindamendable.com and join us over at Monetizing Mompreneurs Facebook group. I just want to say again, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening.